Wukong put on the robe and the hat. Tang Sanzang, seeing this, stopped eating the dry food and quickly recited the tightening spell. Wukong felt a sharp pain in his head, rolling on the ground, crying out, "My head hurts, my head hurts." Tang Sanzang, fearing that Wukong might break the golden hoop, stopped reciting the spell. Immediately, Wukong's pain stopped. When he reached up to touch his head, it felt like there was a golden thread tightly wrapped around it, impossible to remove or break, as if it had taken root. Wukong took out the golden cudgel from his ear and tried to pry it off. Tang Sanzang, afraid that he might break it, recited the spell again. Wukong was in so much pain that he rolled and somersaulted, his ears red and his face flushed, his eyes bulging, and his body numb. Seeing him like this, Tang Sanzang couldn't bear it and stopped reciting. Wukong's headache eased. It was only then that Wukong realized it was his master who was casting the spell on him. Tang Sanzang asked, "Will you listen to my teachings from now on?" Wukong quickly replied, I will. Although Wukong agreed verbally, he still didn't fully submit. He took out the golden cudgel, intending to strike Tang Sanzang, but Tang Sanzang hastily recited the tightening spell again. Wukong begged in pain, "Master, please stop, please stop. I won't be disrespectful again." Wukong asked who taught him the spell, and Tang Sanzang replied, "It was an old woman just now." Wukong became furious, "There's no need to say more. It must be Guanyin. I'll go to the South Sea and find her." Tang Sanzang said, "Since she bestowed it upon me, if you go to find her and she starts reciting it, what will you do?" Wukong realized the logic in his words and knelt down, pleading, "Master, I won't provoke her anymore. I'm willing to escort you to the west without any regrets." Wukong packed up their belongings and helped Tang Sanzang onto the horse, continuing their journey westward. After traveling for several days, it was already the depth of winter. One day, Tang Sanzang, riding on the horse, heard the sound of rushing water from afar and asked, "Wukong, where is that sound of water coming from?" Wukong replied, "I remember this place is called Snake Coil Mountain and Eagle Grief Ravine. It must be the sound of water from the ravine." Wukong continued, "This ravine is steep and wide, with clear water shining. When crows and magpies fly over, they see their reflections in the clear water and mistake them for fellow birds, often diving into the water and drowning, hence the name Eagle Grief Ravine." Before long, the master and disciple arrived at the edge of the ravine. Just as they were observing, with a loud noise, waves surged, and suddenly a white dragon leaped out of the ravine, heading straight for Tang Sanzang. Wukong, alarmed, dropped their luggage, lifted Tang Sanzang off the horse, and ran with him on his back. Unable to catch up, the dragon swallowed the white horse and its saddle and bridle in one gulp before diving back into the deep ravine. Wukong left Tang Sanzang on a high slope and went back to fetch the horse and luggage, but he only found the luggage and no trace of the horse. He jumped onto a cloud and searched all around, but there was no sign of the horse. Wukong landed and said to Tang Sanzang, "Master, the horse must have been eaten by that dragon." Tang Sanzang cried, "Without the horse, how can we traverse the myriad mountains and rivers to reach the western heaven?" Unable to bear seeing him cry, Wukong became angry, shouting, "Stop crying like a baby. You sit here and wait. I'll go find that dragon and make it return our horse." Wukong tied his tiger skin skirt, gathered his strength, held his golden cudgel, and leaped to the edge of Eagle Grief Ravine, shouting, "Dragon, return my horse." Meanwhile, the white dragon, having eaten the horse, was resting at the bottom of the ravine. Hearing someone shouting insults, he couldn't help but feel angry and leaped out of the water, showing his teeth and claws, asking, "Who dares to insult me here?" Wukong shouted, "Take this," and swung his cudgel, starting a fight with the white dragon. After fighting for a long time, the white dragon's strength weakened, and he couldn't resist anymore. He turned and dove back into the deep ravine, ignoring Wukong's insults. Feeling helpless, Wukong returned to Tang Sanzang. "Master, I fought with that evil dragon for a long time, but he escaped back into the water." Tang Sanzang asked, "You said you had methods to subdue dragons and tigers. Why couldn't you subdue him today?" Wukong, feeling slighted, exploded, "Enough of your complaints. I'll go and confront him again." Wukong jumped back to the edge of the ravine, inserted his golden cudgel into the water, stirring up waves and turbulence. The white dragon, restless in the deep ravine, jumped out of the water again, roaring, "Who dares to insult me like this?" Wukong saw the dragon and swung his cudgel. Wukong fought with the dragon until they reached a mountain cliff. Unable to defeat Wukong, the white dragon transformed into a water snake and disappeared into the grass. Wukong searched for the snake in the grass with his cudgel, but it was nowhere to be found. Frustrated, he recited a spell, summoning the mountain god and land god, asking, "Who is the monster in Eagle Grief Ravine? How dare he eat my master's white horse?" The mountain god and land god explained that there was no monster in the ravine originally. Guanyin Bodhisattva had saved a jade dragon and instructed it to wait there for a seeker of the scriptures. However, today, it had clashed with the great sage. They advised Wukong to invite Guanyin Bodhisattva to capture the dragon. Wukong, along with the mountain god and land god, bid farewell to Tang Sanzang and set off to invite Guanyin Bodhisattva from the South Sea. At that moment, they heard someone calling from the sky. Wukong looked and saw Guanyin Bodhisattva arriving. Wukong went to greet Guanyin Bodhisattva, complaining, "You told me to escort Tang Sanzang to the western heaven to fetch scriptures, but why did you use the tightening spell to harm me?" Guanyin Bodhisattva smiled, "You, monkey, are unruly. If I didn't restrain you like this, how could I manage you if you cause trouble again?" Wukong continued, "Fine. But why did you let that evil dragon become a spirit here and eat my master's horse?" Guanyin Bodhisattva replied, "He is the son of the Dragon King of the West Sea. He committed a capital offense, but I pleaded with the Jade Emperor to punish him by serving as a horse for the seeker of scriptures." Guanyin Bodhisattva added, "Wukong, go to the edge of the ravine and call out, 'Dragon King's third prince, come out.' Guanyin Bodhisattva is here. He will come out on his own." Wukong went to the edge of the ravine and called out as instructed. Sure enough, the white dragon surged in the waves and leaped out of the water. The white dragon transformed into human form and bowed to Guanyin Bodhisattva, expressing gratitude for saving his life. He mentioned that he had been waiting here for a long time without any seekers of scriptures arriving. Guanyin Bodhisattva pointed at Wukong, saying, "This is the senior disciple of the seeker of scriptures." The white dragon was astonished, saying, "He never mentioned fetching the scriptures during our fight." Guanyin Bodhisattva said to Wukong, "You, monkey, are too proud. When you go again, there will be converts. Just mention fetching the scriptures, and you don't need to worry." Guanyin Bodhisattva then took off a pearl from the dragon's neck, touched some willow branches with dew, brushed it over the dragon, blew some divine breath, and said, "Transform." The white dragon immediately turned into a white horse. Guanyin Bodhisattva instructed Wukong to lead the horse to Tang Sanzang. Wukong grumbled, "How can we traverse the rugged path to the west without difficulties?" Guanyin Bodhisattva said, "Without enduring countless hardships, how can you obtain the true scriptures? If you encounter any hardships in the future, I promise you can call for help from heaven and earth." Guanyin Bodhisattva plucked 3 willow leaves and placed them behind Wukong's head, saying, "Transform." They turned into 3 life-saving hairs. She said, "In times of danger, you can use them to get out of trouble." Guanyin Bodhisattva returned to Mount Putua in the South Sea. Wukong held on to the horse's mane and descended on a cloud. Tang Sanzang, seeing the white horse, exclaimed, "Why does this horse look healthier than before?" Wukong replied, "Master, you must be dreaming. Just now, Guanyin Bodhisattva came and turned the white dragon into a white horse." Tang Sanzang was astonished, asking, "Where is Bodhisattva? Let me go and express my gratitude." Wukong said, "Bodhisattva has already returned to the South Sea." Tang Sanzang hurriedly gathered some soil and incense, bowing toward the south. The mountain god and land god bid farewell to Wukong and returned to their respective places. Wukong packed up their belongings, invited Tang Sanzang onto the horse, and the master and disciple continued their journey westward.